the talk for today is entitled Stock Market Outlook for the Holidays, no? Trends to watch before Christmas, the New Year, and beyond. Kasi alam nyo, pag ganitong nangyayari na maganda yung market tapos magpapasko, everybody's looking at it. Everybody's so interested. And then we find a few bumps. Medyo nagkaroon ng konting volatility ulit. Kasi in the last 3 weeks, parang antarik, ano? Parang everyday halos umaakyat. Tapos in this last week, bigla na namang may bumps, no? Talagang, ewan ko ba, talagang swerte si IMG, pati yung scheduling ng ating mga talks, eh. Parang aligned, no? Because it's high time I get to talk to you. Some of you are siguro getting crazy again, saying, naku, baka bumaba na naman. Aalis na muna ako, babalik na lang ako pag bumagsak ulit. Yan. Yan ang wag na wag nating gagawin. So, let me just tell you what's happening now, no? Again, alam nyo, bawat holidays may trends. I'm going to be sharing that with you. But I guess the ultimate trust is appreciation and understanding. Hindi prediction. Wala tayong pinipredict dito. But the difference is this, I don't know, wala nga kasi yung big three, kaya hindi ko masabi sa inyo kung magkano ang naging reversal nung aming. Can you just imagine if Soldivo, for example, is up about 16-17% year to date. Naging down yan ng about 5 to 6 percent during the year. I think that was sometime July or April. July, pagpalagay nyo na, nag-0.65 ata noong July. So, from that time to today, you're going to be over 20% in return in so short a time. So, ano ibig sabihin niyan? Yung fixed income ng 3 to 4 years, binawi niya in less than a few months. Now, there's a bit of, as I've said, a few bumps, but is that high time for us to, again, withdraw the money and come back again when it goes down? Ladies and gentlemen, my friends at IMG, you are not fund managers. May fund manager tayo. Dapat siya ang gumagawa niyan. At kung siya hindi lumalabas, at makikita nyo pati yung ating NAVPS umaakyat bumababa, that just means he's fully committed to his strategy. Kasi pwede niyang ibenta yan eh. Kung hindi siya naniniwala na aakyat pa, pwede niyang ibenta yan. But the fact na hindi niya binebenta, siguro may naiisip siyang mas maganda pang mangyayari. The big storyline, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to start with that, is foreign investments. Okay? They have been negative for the last 5 years. Negative yan. Yung kanilang pinasok sa Philippines from 2014 to 2021, nilabas nila from 2022 to 2023. Talagang wala tayong tinatawag na foreign funds that are supporting our market. And since our market is very small, pag ang foreign funds walang activity or absent, mahirap pong umakyat. Today, in the last few months, sobrang positive ang foreign investments. Foreign buying is up, and ito kaya po naging bumpy ng konti kasi nag-weaken ang dollar. Pag nag-weaken ang peso against the dollar, syempre yung mga foreign investments, hihinto muna yan. Teka lang, baka mamaya pagpasok ko, biglang bumaba yung peso, kahit kumita ko, mabubura yun dahil I always think about my financials in terms of dollars. Right? So, huminto muna sila. Hinihintay muna nilang mag-stabilize kasi baka nga naman strongly bumaba. And why is it going down? Loop na naman ito, no? Economics ito eh. Kasi 'di ba, nagbaba tayo ng rate. Mas malakas, mas mataas ang ibinaba natin than the US Fed. And may mga pasabi ang BSP natin na talagang mas mataas ang ikakat nila than the US. And why? Kasi mataas pa ang inflation ng US, ang Pilipinas mababa na. And our BSP is focused on growth, not watching the exchange rate, but focus on growth. Yan ang marching orders ng ating presidente. And again, for whatever it's worth, if that is the administration's view, that is what they are going to be delivering. So, I'm getting ahead of myself eh. Naunahan na ako ng mga slides ko. Ayan, happy days are here again. Hindi ba? Now, karamihan sa mga investors, no, emotional tayo eh. Sumasabay tayo sa akyat baba. Pag umakyat, saka tayo nagiging confident, saka tayo naglalagay ng mas malaki. Pag bumaba, saka tayo natatakot, saka tayo tumatakbo. Di ba dapat baliktad? Dapat baliktad eh. So, this is a good time to buy kasi about a few weeks ago, it was what? 7,500, 7,600 eh. Eh ngayon, back tayo sa 7,300. Dapat nagdadagdag tayo. Di ba kasi, kumbaga sa jeep, pumara ang jeep eh. Pinasasakay ka. Di ba? Kung kailan pumara, saka bumaba yung iba. Di ba? Maling-mali eh. So, again, let us not let our emotion hamper the way we deal with our investments. Ang pinakamaganda po, yung turo ng IMG, earn extra income, expand your earning potential, at maglagay lang kayo sa inyong investment. Huwag na kayo masyadong magpa-timing-timing pa dahil trabaho yan ng fund manager. Kaya kung makikita nyo dito, nilagay ko yung chart, happy days are here again. Look at my arrows and my bars on the right side of your screen. I mean, look at it. What does it mean? Aakyat at bababa yan. Hindi pwedeng dire-diretso yan. Pag dire-diretso yan, it's also going to be detrimental to the market. Because there wouldn't be no healthy corrections, no healthy profit taking, pabayaan natin yung mga gustong mag-profit take, at may mga bagong papasok. That is the way to go. Hindi pwedeng lahat tayo pumasok tapos walang gagalaw. Tapos lahat paakyat. Hindi pwede. Delikado yan. It is worse for the market to go up on a straight line. There has to be pauses. There has to be dips for new money to come in, for a bit of profit taking for the others, because the cycle has to be healthy. Kaya kung makikita nyo dito sa happy days are here again ko, yung mga bars na yan, akyat baba yan. Hindi ba? Kasi yan ang pagmumula ng tinatawag nating supportive base. You need a supportive base in markets because that creates the stability of real growth. Pag walang correction, it is going to be very, very risky. Happy days are here again, but ang gusto ko pong sabihin, happy days are actually ahead. They're actually ahead. Yung nakikita natin ngayon, you haven't seen anything yet. Ang dami ko pong kausap na fund manager. From Atram, kaka-report lang nila, nag-board meeting kami ng Soldivo. You all know, I chair the Soldivo funds. Di ba? So maganda ang takbo ng Soldivo. Pero yan ba pwedeng magbenta na muna tayo para end of the year, mas marami tayong pera? Hindi. Kasi yung basa nila, abay kailangan tumaya tayo. Kailangan tumudo tayo dahil hindi lang maganda yung end of the year. Ang basa nila, for next year and even the year after that, mas maganda pa. So anong ibig sabihin? Abay kailangan, yun ang marching orders ko sa amin, sa Ramper side. Magdadagdag tayo. Kailangan magdagdag tayo at anong babawasan namin? Ang aming fixed income portfolio. Kasi yung fixed income portfolio namin, kumita yan eh, nung mataas ang rate. Pagbaba ng rate, tatamaan na yan. So it's high time we make the switches today. Ito, ang usual holiday trends, no? Isa-isahin po natin because these are the things you're going to be hearing from a lot of people, from social media, from mainstream media, and even from fund managers. Yan po ang regular na mga trends na i-quote nila. Pag maganda ang nangyayari during Christmas or during December, ano yan? Santa Claus Rally. Totoo ba yan? Ano ang ibig sabihin nito? Pupunta si Santa Claus sa Philippine Stock Exchange at mamimigay siya ng aginaldo para umakyat yung market? Ganun ba yon? No. Let me tell you about the history of this. Itong si Yale Hirsch, noong 1972, sumulat siya ng investment almanac. Sumulat siya ng investment almanac. At ang isa sa mga trends na nilagay niya doon is the Santa Claus Rally. Kasi inaral niya all the years of markets. And ito po, US niya ginawa. Pero maraming fund manager ginawa din yan sa Pilipinas, and let me assure you, it is 70% accurate. 70%. So majority of the time, tama yan. Pero minsan, syempre, may mga sumasablay din naman na taon. No? Pero ang sabi nila, pag nakagka-Santa Claus Rally, maganda ang January, at pag maganda ang January, maganda rin ang pagtatapos ng taon. Now, sasabihin ko sa inyo ng tapatan, the last 2 years were already exceptions. Hindi ganun ang nangyari. Natatandaan nyo, 2022, 2023, ang ganda ng umpisa ng taon, tapos it sputtered on the tail end of the year, bumaba. Pangatlong taon na ganito, pero hopefully naman, ngayong taon na to, mukhang talagang ang ending natin maganda. But what am I saying? Yung 70% probability, okay, nagdaan na yung 2 taon na 2022, 2023 na ganun eh. So mas mataas ang probability natin na 70% it will fall on a real Santa Claus rally again this year and it will go up. Itong si Yelhurst, mineasure niya ang markets. Every time you will see, Christmas getting into the new year, umaakyat lagi. So inaral niya what can be the factors. Number one, very, very thin volume. Kunti na lang ang nagte-trade pag Pasko eh. Ang dami nang nagbabakasyon. O kayo, sino sa inyo ang may plano between Christmas and New Year? Hindi na magtatrabaho. Maaring nasa probinsya na, maaring nag-abroad na, nagtatravel na. Marami sa ating ganyan. So hindi mo na iisipin yung investments mo. Even fund managers take breaks. And normally, ginagawa nila yan. So, konting-konti lang ang nagte-trade. At pag yung konti na yon, medyo positive pa ang outlook for the next year, sigurado ka aakyat. That's one of the reasons for the Santa Claus rally. Number two, syempre, ito rin yung susunod nating holiday trend, increased consumer spending and confidence. Hindi natin maalis pag Pasko, puno ang mall, nasa labas lahat ng tao, napaka-traffic. Doesn't that feel economically prosperous? Di ba? People feel prosperous during Christmas eh. May perang panggastos, naglalabas, traffic, nakikipagbalyahan sa Tiangge. Ano ibig sabihin? Umiikot ang pera. There is volatility. So all of a sudden, just like that, aakyat ang retail stocks, aakyat ang benta ng Jollibee, aakyat ang benta ng McDonald's, ng mga restaurant, yung mga hindi lagi kumakain sa labas, nagkakakain sa labas. At kahit hindi kailangan kung ano-anong pinagbibili. Regalo, sometimes, ito nga uso ngayon, gift for oneself. Aba, dati, alam ko nung bata-bata ako, niriregaluhan, mahal sa buhay, pamilya. Ngayon, hindi na. Niriregaluhan natin ang ating sarili, di ba? So, ayan, when you put that together, syempre, pure gold, RRHI, DNL, yan ang mga stocks na siguradong pwedeng pumutok by year-end. And because of this increased confidence, at sabi ni Bloomberg, 100% ang probability niyan, tuwing Pasko, maganda ang takbo ng mga negosyong yan. So isabay mo yan dun sa festive outlook ng mga tao dahil Pasko, New Year, ano mangyayari? May konting maglalagay ng pera. Walang nagtitrade, maraming bakasyon. Aakyat ang market. Aakyat ang market. So there is a big probability of these two basic trends and the probabilities are very, very high. What else? Ano pang mga trend? January effect. January effect. Kadalasan daw, pag nagkaroon ka ng Santa Claus rally, susunod na yung January effect. Ano yung January effect? Aakyat ang market at the very least from 7 to 10% in the first 2 to 3 weeks of January. And let me tell you why. Okay, syempre, isa na dyan sa reason na yan, yung follow-through ng Santa Claus rally. Minsan may follow-through. Second, lahat ng fund manager from 2024, ang kinakalkula nila earnings ng 2024. So pag nag-calculate sila ng price-earnings ratio, it means earnings in 2024 versus the stock price. However, in January, they will be changing all of those computations. Ano na ang gagamitin nilang earnings? Earnings for 2025. Hindi na 2024. So yung mga PE ratio mo, magsisibabaan yan. At pag bumaba ang PE ratio, guess what has to happen? Dapat tumaas ang price para bumagay dun sa PE ratio last year. Diba? Plain and simple, it means this. Investors are looking forward to the earnings of companies the following year. And the earnings of these companies in 2024 has become history. History na yan. So, yan, iaakyat nila yung tinatawag na re-rating. Ibig sabihin, dati, kunyari, ang ahali, ganito lang. From 20 or 18% price earnings ratio, ginawa nilang 20 to 21 dahil umakyat ang earnings for 2025. Paano mo ibabalik sa 18? O kailangan tumaas ang income, di ba? Yun ang denominator eh. So anong nangyari? Tumaas yung income, pinalitan natin from 24 to 25. So yung PE ratio, to equalize again the PE ratio, kailangan ng presyo tumaas. So that's the reason why in January, there is a tendency for the market to be a little more buoyant than usual. Kung gaano kadilim ang ghost month, August, because of the Chinese, gano'n naman ka-bright ang January for a lot of market players. Lastly, yung year-end window dressing. Wala nang volume, walang nagte-trade, pagkakataon na sometimes sa mga fund manager, pataasin ang mga presyo. Parang ang calculation ng mga funds nila, mataas. Yan. Yan ang problema natin because our system in the PSE is what you call based on closures that are based on auction. Auction closures ang tawag yan. Di ba? Pagdating sa dulo, yung, ewan ko kung napapansin nyo yun, for those of you who trade the market, di ba? Pagdating ng 2:45, magsasara siya. Pero may mga bids pa. Yun ang last minute auction. Yung 5 minutes from 2:45 to 2:50. Pagdating ng alas 2:50 ng hapon, bubukas uli yung market, lahat ng bids na yon tatamaan ng closing price in the last 10 minutes. And then those prices, hindi na yan gagalaw, yan na ang prices at which everyone trades at the close. Which means there is a little bit of play, ika nga, manipulation on the last minute of the end of the year. Labanan yan with fund managers wanting to keep prices high and buyers who want to be able to buy low. So yung year-end window dressing na yan, nangyayari din yan. So what am I telling you here? All of these trends point to a very positive outlook every time, whether the year is bad or not. The Santa Claus rally will happen because we will have to go through Christmas. Di ba? Mangyayari din po ang January effect kasi alam nyo naman, pagkatas ng December, January na. Di ba? So, kailangan mangyari yan. So, all of these can, harm our basic perspective. Kasi alam nyo po ang sinasabi ng mga yan. Kailangan tumiming tayo. Which is basically very, very far dun sa tinuturo natin sa IMG. It's not about timing. Kasi kung kumita ka man ng December, kumita ka man ng January, ano gagawin mo afterwards, di ba? Investor ka pa din eh. Kaya tayo nag-i-invest para mapaaral ang ating mga anak, mabigyan ng magandang buhay ang ating pamilya, makabili tayo ng magandang bahay, makapagbiyahe tayo. At kahit papano, matustusan natin ang ating mga luho pag tayo nagretiro na. Yan ang mga objective natin. What does a blip in the market for a few months got to do with it? Yan po kailangan ma-realize natin. We are from IMG. We are disciplined. Hindi tayo tumitingin ng buwanan, tumitingin tayo taon, dekada. And we will be rewarded for that perspective. And papakita ko sa inyo, even the richest, most followed person in investments. Ang sabi niya, di ba nag-usap sila ni Jeff Bezos, sabi ni Warren Buffett, simpleng-simple ang investing eh. Simpleng-simple. Sabi ni Jeff Bezos sa kanya, yung presidente ng Amazon, may-ari ng Amazon, Warren, kung talagang simpleng-simple, ba't hindi ka nalang gayahin ng lahat ng tao? Ang dali-dali naman ng tinuturo mo. You know his answer? Because not a lot of people want to get rich slowly. Ulitin ko yon. Not many people want to be rich slowly. Gusto nila mabilisan. Di ba ganun po ang karamihan ng Pilipino? Kaya tayo nandito sa IMG, kaya tayo kailangan magturo ng 30 million sa kanila eh. 'Di ba? Kasi kailangan natin mabigyan ng tamang pananaw ang ating mga kababayan. Hindi nakukuha sa overnight sensation ng pagiging mayaman. Ang totoong kayamanan is built up over time because that's more stable. It's anchored on discipline, it's anchored on financial accountability. So ito po, sinasabi ko lang itong trends na ito dahil ito ang kailangang i-expect natin at kailangan nating sundan. But, as I've said, ultimately, the prediction is not going to mean anything. Ultimately, it will be about appreciation and understanding. Ultimately, it will be fundamentals. Kaya po pag nakakausap ko ang Big Three, pag nagre-report ako kay Ladoris about how our portfolios are performing, lagi kong sinasabi, ito ang takbo ng fundamentals. I am going to be worried if our country's fundamentals are going to be negative. Hindi po eh. Even in the last 2 years, maganda ang fundamentals natin eh. So it is going to be a bull market and it's going to be a matter of time. Ganun ang belief ko eh. Kasi ang fundamentals hindi nagbago. Pero syempre, much like any other person or institution, dapat IMG, Kaiser, Manila Bank, Manila Bankers, we all have to keep the faith. Hindi pwede yung matatakot ka, tatanggalin mo, tatapang ka na naman, ilalagay mo. Kadalasan, pag ganun, ano nangyayari? Tinatanggal mo pag mababa, nilalagay mo pag mataas. Eh di ba dapat baliktad? You're supposed to put money, di ba? When markets are low, and you're supposed to take out money when markets are high. And that's the reason why people lose money. Nawawala sa kanila yung disiplina. Baka nga mas maganda pa, sundin na lang natin ang turo ng IMG. Create that higher level of income, get yourself, your medical, your contingency coverages, emergency funds, then begin investing. And invest for the long haul. Because the fundamentals will always be behind you. Ayan, napakaganda po ng picture, hindi ba? Makikita nyo, from that point in July when it dipped to where it is today. And mind you, and I've said, magiging volatile po yan ngayon. Pero sa tingin nyo, babalik yan uli ng 6.2. Diba? Chance na natin yun. Nung pumunta ng 6.2, chance mo na yun. At ang iba na marunong, tumodo pa dyan. Yung ilalagay ng 3 buwan, ilagay na kagad dahil ang baba-baba. But a lot of people have asked me, Rex, is it too late? Ang ganda kasi ng chart eh. Baka naman mamaya bumaba na uli yan. No, let me tell you what the expectation is. Diba? Ito po yung aming macroeconomic view. And as I've said, not the results just coming from Ramver. This is also a shared set of researches from our partner firms in the industry. Atram, notably, one of the biggest and the best. Okay? Nandyan din po ang Abacus and MyTrade. U-Trade at isang bagong partner natin, okay? Si Box Technologies with SBX. Yan. So, lahat ng mga analysis niyan, nandito. Sinamarize ko. One page, one slide. Pag ngayon may nagmamarunong about economics and about where we're headed, ito lang ang ipepresent nyo. One slide. Okay? On the local side, big factor, your BSP. Ang Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is the most independent that I've ever seen it become. Dati kasi nakita ko ang Bangko Sentral na nagagamit talaga for politics. Eh. Depende sa gusto ng administrasyon, ipe-play down nila yung exchange rate, yung interest rates for, political purposes. Ang tingin ko po, and I'm serious about this, the BSP today for me looks like they're very independent. They are pro-growth. They are pro-growth. Okay, nakita nila, bumaba ang inflation, nagbaba kagad sila ng rate. Inunahan pa nila ang Fed. Very independent. Now, second, syempre tatamaan ng mga bangko. Binaba mo interest rate eh. Tatamaan ng mga bangko is not healthy. Not exactly unhealthy, but sige, ayusin natin. Anong ginawa nila? Binaba nila reserve requirement. By bringing down the reserve requirement, the BSP is now strengthening the bank kahit bumaba margin nila, matutustusan naman yan ang paglapad ng kanilang volume because they now need less capital for their loans. So everybody happy. Everybody happy. And that's the reason why the banking industry is churning out and it's very strong. And because when rates continuously goes down, ano na yung next dyan? Real estate na. For sure, real estate will be so buoyant next year with mortgage rates sliding. So kung makita nyo, gumalaw si Ali. Nakita mo kaagad yun from, di ba, kailan lang yan? Nasa 28, 29. Ngayon, nasa 36, 37 na. Last year nga, umabot pa ng 27 yan eh. Oh. Di ba? So, ito po, kung hihintayin natin yung pagganyan-ganyan, wala eh. Baka mas mabuti pa, di ba? Commit to your investment strategy and stick to it for the long haul. Investment demand to strengthen in 2025 earlier than originally assumed. Foreign investments po, both portfolio and hot money together with talagang FDIs, talagang parehong umakyat eh. Parehong umakyat. And we are bringing them on much, much more than planned and scheduled. Foreign direct investments together with portfolio investments are both up. Next, consumer spending normalization. Dati po ang nagdadala kasi sa GDP natin, consumption eh. Pero ngayon, umahabol ng supply. I'll show you because this is a global trend. Hindi lang naman Pilipinas yan. And then lastly, tuloy-tuloy naman ang pag-spend ng national government. Kasi national government is one of the biggest spenders in an economy. Pag ang national government po, hindi rin nagpatayo ng mga tulay, hindi nagpatayo ng mga subway, ng mga tren, ng mga highways, kalye, abay delikado po tayo. Bababa ang GDP natin at magwiwika ng ating ekonomiya. But if you check, di ba? Ang ating national government budget ay tinaas pa eh. So ibig sabihin, gagasto sila ng todo in 2025, which is going to be very good for the market. As I've said, yan ba ho, I'm dabbling into politics and I'm really, seeing this administration to be the darling and the solution to things? The answer is no. All I'm saying is, economy-wise, they're doing good moves. And I see that. Uncertainty from the dynamic game of growth and inflation. Yan po ay global trend. Hirap ang Amerika dyan. Bakit? Minsan pumipitik pa rin ang inflation nila. Umaakyat pa rin eh. Dapat hindi na. Pilipinas, dire-diretso pagbaba. Medyo ang ating pong peligro lang is when a war happens. Because especially in the Middle East, when a war erupts or an embargo is implemented, alam niyo kung ano nangyayari? Tumataas ang presyo ng langis eh. Hindi tayo oil producer. We are a big oil user. So, dyan po, namimiligro ang ating situation because inflation can be higher because oil has a big component in the computation of our CPI. Maraming goods dyan ang affected ng ating oil prices. Diba? So, issue po yan. The Fed will search for a neutral zone. They will balance it off. Samantalang tayo, mas matapang tayo sa kanila. On the regional side, syempre, West Philippine Sea, that has to be very stable. Alam nyo naman, syempre, kahit paano nyo sabihin, China is such a big country. If we're going to be on the bad side of China and we can be the stage where the US and China will get into war, we will just be the biggest loser. Okay? There's also a La Nina issue that hopefully doesn't get worse. Yung medyo babahanan naman at babalikan na naman natin, nasa na ba yung flood control, hindi ba? So, medyo issue po yan. And then lastly, we all know the Chinese economy has been in the doldrums for about 2.5 years. And lately, kaya po sumipa ang China, ang bilis ng gobyerno nila, may ginawang stimulus packages. So lumipad po in one day. In fact, there was a time when China went up 7% yung buong index nila. Can you imagine yung buong index? So companies like AIA went up over 10% in one day. Kasi ganun po sila, ang bilis nilang mag-decide. Pag kailangan ng tinatawag na ayuda ng market, bigay ka agad because they're not democratic. They are communist. So they don't lose their jobs if they make the wrong moves. So pag sinabi nilang we want to grow that economy, we want to turn it around, they can easily do that. Unlike a democracy where if you do the wrong things, you actually lose the next election. Di ba? So, you will be booted out. Kaya po, sa kanila, mas mabilis silang gumawa, mas mabilis silang mag-implement, at pag mali, bawi lang kaagad. So, I hope this Chinese incentives, stimulus packages will work because that will also benefit us, China being one of our biggest trading partners as well. So, pinakita ko po ito sa napakaraming tao na when the US stops increasing rates, markets always go up. Napakakonting exception po ito. Kaisa-isang exception dito sa dito sa kanan nyo, yung 1999 to year 2000, that's the dot-com bubble. That's the reason why it is an exception. Pero ano sinasabi ng mga charts na to? Tuwing tumigil ang Amerika magtaas ng rate, markets always go up. In the US and globally. Almost 100% of the time. Kailan huling nagtaas ang US? July of 2023. Alam niyo, naginto na sila July of 2023. Ang hindi pa lang nila nagagawa ay mag-cut, which they did recently with a 50 basis point cut. Ang bilis nga, 50 agad. Akala ko magto 25-25 sila eh. Hindi, 50 agad. So, nag-cut na sila. So, eventually, we will be expecting their markets to move up. And I'll tell you now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is at an all-time high. This week, they've been doing very, very well. Okay? So, yan na, nag-uumpisa na yan. Isipin nyo, nung nag-recover yung market from the 2008-2009 debacle, nakabawi po yan noong 2010, maliit lang. 2011 po yan sumipa. So nakikita nyo, itong 2024, itong 2010. At ang 2025, yan ang 2011. So if I were you, I'm going to be positioning now. I will be readying myself up to create a higher level of commitment now. Look at this. This is the global MPI chart. Ang tawag dito kasi heat map. Pag green, it's cold, it's good, it's growing. Pag red, it's decreasing. It's negative. So lahat po yan ng mga bansa, ito ang lahat ng buwan nasa ibabaw. Ano ba yung PMI to start with? Ayan, isipin nyo, talaga dito tayo sa IMG. No? Yung mga tinuturo sa MBA Finance, pinasisimple natin dito para lahat ng Pilipino nakakaintindi. Yan po ang hinaing namin mga big, nakasama kong big three. That's the reason why they always want IMG to create the foundation of education. Kasi alam niyo ang totoo, in the real world out there, the fund managers, the research people, they keep all of these intellectual jargons sacred. Kasi po pag walang nakakaintindi, mas malaki sweldo nila. 'Di ba? Totoo, dapat nakakaintindi lahat. And that's what we want to do at IMG. We want to democratize an understanding of investments and markets. Ano ba yung PMI? Purchasing Managers Index. Lahat po ng purchasing manager ng lahat ng manufacturing firms sa mundo, ini-index yan. Pag ang purchasing manager namili, ano ibig sabihin? Abe, magpo-produce ang kanilang makinarya. Magpo-produce ang kanilang planta. Bumili ng raw material eh. Pag hindi bumibili ng raw material at ang purchasing manager walang ginawa, walang binili, o di ibig sabihin, yung planta hindi gagalaw. Or kung gagalaw man, mas mababa than capacity. Kayang gumawa ng 100, ang gagawin 50 lang, 40 lang. Bakit? Mahina ekonomiya, walang bibili. Pero pag nakikita nila, lumalakas ng ekonomiya, marami nang bibili, kailangan mag-stock up na tayo, kailangan punuin na natin ang tuduhin na natin ang makinarya, punuin na natin ng raw material. So pag ang purchasing managers index po naging green, the world is churning in terms of production. And that's going to be good for a third world country like the Philippines. Because if the global economy is humming, pinakita ko sa inyo in the last convention, di ba? Anong pinakita ko? Bababa ang global economy. Ang emerging markets aakyat, ang established developed markets bababa. Particularly the US and Europe. Bubuhat, ASEAN, isa na Pilipinas dyan. Pero teka lang, kung ang global economy biglang umakyat, aakyat pa tayong lahat lalo. So yung pinresent ko, baka maiwan pa yun. Kasi titingnan nyo to, this is the heat map for the entire world. Look at the Eurozone. Look at Germany. Look at France. Look at Italy. Pulang-pula ang PMI. Ang hina ng kanilang production. Ngayon, bumeberde na. Yung yellow na. So ano ibig sabihin? The world is up for a recovery. Notwithstanding new issues on tinatawag nating wars and tensions, geopolitical issues, then we're going to be better. Ito po is something that fund managers follow. And I'm not saying local fund managers. These are global fund managers. In fact, yung pong data na yan, galing yan sa isang Swiss bank. O, tingnan nyo. Grabe talaga si IMG, ha? Ang ating source of information. Search at fund manager firms or investment managers. Global tayo. Meron tayong Swiss bank data. Di ba? Yan ang mabigat sa atin. O ito, Philippine data naman. Galing naman ito sa researches ng ating gobyerno. Di ba? Sabi nila, mag-grow tayo ng 6.2 sa 2025 at 6 sa 2024. This is higher than the prediction of 5.5 and 6 previously. Nung nakaraang convention, kung natatandaan nyo, kung kayo ba naman ay nag-take notes at natatandaan nyo sinabi ko, di ba? 5.5 ito, tsaka 6 eh. Eh ngayon, nireclass pa, tumaas pa. And mind you, it is very, very heartwarming that household consumption, di ba? Nag-go-grow pa, bumabalik na. Kasi natakot yan nung early part of this year eh. So if household consumption growth is getting back, PMIs of the world is getting higher, abay, saan pupulutin itong market na to? Ang laki po ng good news coming from everywhere. Look at this, kino-compare nila Federal Reserve interest rates, Bangko Sentral interest rates. Look at the kind of, di ba, drops that you're going to see. Almost 2.5 points on both institutions. 2.5 percentage points, not beeps, percentage points. So, ang bibig sabihin, bago sila matapos sa 2026, nakapagbaba sila ng 250 beeps. Ang Amerika nakakapagbaba pa lang ng 50, tayo nakakapagbaba pa lang ng 25. If we do another 50, I think we did another 50, malayo pa, may 2.25 pa eh. Can you just imagine how much markets are gonna be pulled up because of that? Can you just imagine na pati ang mortgage rates bababa, tatapang ang mga taong umutang para bumili ng bagong bahay? Kasi kung ang hulog ko ngayon, 10,000, bababa yung hulog ko to 8,000. I can get a house. In fact, the same house. And because of that, you will see companies like Ali, Mega World, Robinsons, magsisitaasan uli yan. Yung mga kumpanyang yan because of all of these trends. And because of that, this is, tingnan nyo ang mga factors, stable earnings, normalization of risk premium, plus sustained government securities decline in rates, it supports a 3-year PSE upside. 3 years ito. Look at this. Ha? Ang EPS growth, 6, 9, almost 10. Multiple, 12.9, 14.9, 16.5. So anong sinasabi dito? Ang PSEI, 7,800 by the end of the year. By next year, 9,800. And then in 2026, 12,000 plus. What does that mean? By the end of the year, we're going to grow beyond 25% because we're now growing at around 16, 17, right? At a market that's at 2,000, 7,300. If you're looking at next year, ang ibig sabihin, babasagin niya yung all-time high. Yung all-time high, 9,100. Babasagin niya. So that's another 25%. At itong 2026, another 54% from where we are today. Can you imagine that? You look at that position and situation, hindi ka pa ba magko-commit sa market? And again, I tell a lot of people, wealth is not what you earn, it is what you keep. Alam po natin, yan, kanina may kinocongratulate tayo na green jacket. Ang ibig sabihin din po niyan, kumita. Dapat ba? Matuwa lang tayo sa kumita tayo or dapat ba mag-invest din tayo? Yan po, sinasabi ko sa amin ng mga kasamahan ko sa Rambert. We have to practice what we preach. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-preach sa isang tao, tapos ikaw mismo hindi mo ginagawa. Diba? Kagaya nga nung may mga konting sama tayo ng loob dahil ang sama ng takbo ng soldipo, may mga nalugi. O ano sabi ko? Sa tingin nyo may mas lugi kaysa sa akin? I would have loved to show you how much money we put in there. But the difference is this, I kept the faith. Alam nyo ba, walang halong biro. All through the years, dagdag lang ako ng dagdag dyan sa soldipo. In fact, kaya lang, minsan lang ako nagbenta, dahil kailangan natin ng shares dun sa ating DFFS. Okay? So if you're going to be looking at it, I have kept the faith, and that's the reason why, me, the big three, and our corporates, they're all paying, the price when markets are down. But when markets go up, they also get rewarded handsomely. Rewards are handsome when you do that. Power of compounding. Alam natin ito, it's the secret of making money. But I have yet to see a lot of people na, yun nga patient enough. Ito, ang ganda 1 million a day. Ngayon na, bibigay ko na sa'yo 1 million. Or 1 centavo doubled every day for 30 days. Anong pipiliin mo? 1 million? O isang pera or 1 cent doubled every day for 30 days? Alam niyo bang ibig sabihin yan? On the 30th day, 1 cent is $5.4 million. That's the power of compounding. Doubling per day. The first 10 days, it's almost nothing. 1 cent is $5 at the end of day 10. At the end of day 20, $5. Actually, day 26 na, 335,000 lang siya. Pero yung last few days, that's how compounding works. You cannot make it compound na yung pang 26 or 27th day, ngayon mo gagawin. Hindi ganun You have to wait. There has to be patience here. There has to be a move to make sure that we stay connected. Time in the market, not timing the market. And one of the most popular guys in the world, Warren Buffett, 99% of his wealth was earned after his 50th birthday. After his 50th birthday, 99%. Lahat tayo, sinasabi natin, ang yaman naman ng taong ito. Pero alam niyo ba? Yung yaman niya ngayon, when he was 50, he only had 1% of that. 1%. Pero from the time he was 50 years old, kinumpund yan, ngayon 83 na siya Can you imagine? Yung kinita niya nung nasa 50 years old siya hanggang 83, that's another 23 years. Ang karamihan po sa atin, unfortunately, hindi makahintay. Ang karamihan sa atin, nagkukulang sa patience. In fact, I tell a lot of my friends, all I need to do is to be a net earner. A net earner. Every month, I have more income than what I spend. Which means, I have a problem. You know what my problem is? deployment. Saan ko i-invest yung sobra kong kinita? Kasi buwan-buwan may sobra ako eh. Hindi nagkukulang. May sobra eh. So ang problema ko, saan ko i-invest? Saan ko i-invest? Alam niyo minsan, nakakatuwang sabihin ano, yung mayaman at mahirap, pareho naman may problema sa pera eh. Pareho may problema sa pera. Pero yung isa, ang problema kulang. Yung kakulangan. Yung problema ng isa, sobra. Saan ko ilalagay? Problema din yun. I think the clincher question is this. Anong problema ang gusto mo? Anong problema ang gusto mo? Diba? You know, we are in a situation where we're educating people. I remember I just got a I just got a message from my son this morning. It was a meme that he shared through Rampver and all the employees in the group. Ang ano sabi doon? Um, you want to be famous, you solve the problems of poor people. You will be famous. You want to be rich and wealthy, solve the problem of rich people. Become rich yourself, create your own rich person problems, and solve it. Pero yung poor people na ayaw maging rich, ayaw sumali sa IMG, ayaw matuto, they will never want to be rich. Most of them just want to be entertained, to escape from their problems. Ang taong gustong umasenso, sasali sa atin eh. Sasali sa IMG. Ang hindi sasali sa IMG, yung okay na sila sa buhay nila. Kaya they will spend more time, and I think ang ganda dahil meron tayong mga OFW friends, mga taga Hong Kong, mga taga Singapore dito, mga taga, Middle East. Di ba? Karamihan, pag nagbakasyon na sila, weekend, entertainment na. Gastos. Samantalang si IMG, pag nagkaroon ng bakanting oras, aral. Educate himself, educate others. That's how you really become wealthy. You solve rich people problems. And it's unfortunate because I always say we can never be a prosperous nation without prosperous individuals and families. But we continue to do the practices of poor people. And that's why we remain poor. Ito po, simpleng-simple, no secrets at all. Value is at the core of every investment decision. We find the greatest value when no one's looking. And that is today. Ito na naman, down na naman ang market ngayon. Nagsisitakbuhan na naman lahat. It's a good week to invest in mutual funds. It's a good week to create a higher level of commitment. It's a time to seize opportunities. My friends at IMG, your leaders, talk to your guys. Make them accumulate faster. Kasi pag ito nakita nyo yung 2025 at 2026, napakasayang po for many of them. I want you to look at this and just balance things off. There is a difference between passive income and active income. By working on your job, you're the one climbing the stairs. That is active income. Pag nasa escalator ka, you're earning passive income. Kahit hindi ka gumagalaw, umaakyat ka. You only create passive income when you have investments. Tanungin natin ang sarili natin, am I, growing the right level, the right amount of my investments? Second, asset allocation. Kaya ang ganda ng IMG, nandyan na lahat eh. Meron tayong real estate, meron tayong direct stock investments, meron tayong portfolio, mutual funds. Of course, nandyan ang Kaiser, yan ang nauuna. Di ba? Manila Bankers Life, coverages for our life insurance. Hindi na kayo lalabas dito eh. Kompletong-kompleto na yung asset allocation nyo eh. This is what I call a one-stop shop. You educate people, you educate yourself, and you execute within the ecosystem. That's a very, very powerful disruption in this industry. Kasi isipin nyo, Kahit yung mayaman, nahuhugutin natin sa kalye. 5 kausap yan. May bankero yan, may investment manager yan, may real estate broker yan. Kung ano ang mga ini-invest niya, ganun karami kausap niya. Sa IMG, within that ecosystem, you have access to all the investments you want. Risk management is also very important. Hindi rin naman pwedeng wala nga tayo ng mga emergency funds. Wala tayo ng mga coverages. Nakita nyo na, yung nagsabi kanina, na challenge sila na may namatay sa pamilya, may nagkasakit sa pamilya. Sinong sasagot? Sinong tutustos doon? And lastly, but never the least, you have to cultivate financial discipline for a secure tomorrow. If there is one output of IMG education, it is financial discipline. Because without financial discipline, you'll never be able to reach abundance. Tingnan nyo, ayan, ang mutual funds. Active funds in the market today. Ayan ang PSEI. Okay, this is not as updated. This is updated. Can you imagine, just for this year, ito ang kalakaran ng kita ng mga nirekomenda nating mutual funds. And you know, Soldivo now is ranked amongst the best. Okay? Soldivo is now, making great strides amongst the best. Pero alam nyo, doon sa kalakaran ng yield, maaring nakikipagbakbakan tayo, talagang lumalaban tayo. Dati napupulaan tayo dahil nahuhuli tayo, ngayon hindi na. However, let me tell you this, and I want you to take this with pride. I want you to carry this with utmost pride. The industry last year and this year has contracted. It has contracted. Alam nyo ba? Down ng 20% ang industry. Especially dun sa high nung 2021. Talaga pong ang laki ng drop. From ever since, aakyat, bababa ang market, aakyat, bababa ang mutual funds across the industry. And why do I want you to be proud? Because there are only two funds that never suffered a negative NAV movement, total assets, ika nga yung total investment, never suffered a decline on a quarterly basis since launch. 2 funds lang yan. Soldivo Bond Fund, Soldivo Strategic Growth Fund. The entire industry, yan 2 fund lang na yan. Ang magsasabi na 100% track record of growth from launch. No matter what the market is doing, no matter how challenged we are, that just tells you the fate of IMG leaders. Kaya sumama na po tayo dyan. At ito, syempre, matter of time, pagbalik niyan, iba po ang bawi. Okay? I always tell people, huwag tayo magreklamo mababa market. Maganda nga yan eh. Bakit? Nag-iipon tayo. Pag nag-iipon ka, you want to build a portfolio at cheap prices. Why will you want the prices to go up agad? Kumari nga, ang lipad ng presyo, mga 2026 na eh, kasi nag-iipon pa ako eh. Di ba? Dapat ganun eh. Eh tayo gusto na nating umakyat. Bakit? Gagamitin mo na? Kailangan mo na ng pera? We talked about retirement. We talked about, long-term goals that we will fulfill. So it's an opportune time to set things up. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Crisis will always help you. Again, all of our mutual fund partners, they have funds that are doing very well. We have to be, able to talk to the IMG team. There is a Ramper IMG team that's headed by Eric Menor. He has 2 big guns there. Ralph and Morgan. Asahan nyo po sila, pa-explain nyo, pa-present kayo sa inyong mga teams. Okay? And if you're not into just the IMG portal and you want to invest in others, kausapin nyo din po sila. Pwede kayo mag-invest dun sa mga dollar funds sa Ramper Online. And my trade for your direct stock investing. Kung gusto pa rin talaga, hindi mapigil, gusto mag-direct stocks, magbukas po tayo ng ating My Trade account. Now, some of you will have excess time. You might be able to watch videos and follow us on social media platforms. Nasa Facebook po kami, YouTube, TikTok. We also have a podcast sa Spotify. Just barilin nyo lang po itong QR code na to. At nakahiwalay po ang Ramper Realty. So for those of you who'd want to be able to follow Ramper Realty, ask them the questions and all, ito po yung kanilang QR code. I tell a lot of people, almost always, this is the slide I get to close my talks. Always anchor everything on what truly matters. Pag tama po ang ating kinalalagyan, pag tama ang ating puso, ang pagkita ng pera ay hindi katapusan. Ang kapagkita ng pera ay bigyang daan lang at matustusan ang tunay na pagmamahal natin sa ating mga pamilya. Thank you so much at a great day po to all of you, IMG friends and leaders. Sana po maging maganda ang pagtatapos natin ngayong taon at napakatindi dapat ng pagsalubong natin sa 2025. I'll see you in Hong Kong. Maraming salamat po.